Good morning, sir.
Well, good morning. I see you have Antietam, part of the old blue and gray quadra game, on the table today.
I have a question about the game.
Go ahead.
In the rules, it states that the Union forces can only move 15 units on the first turn and then only 10 units on succeeding turns.
That is true. The rule was designed to recreate the hesitancy of General McClellan to fully commit his forces against General Lee. However, on the game turn after any Confederate unit crosses Antietam Creek to the Union side, the movement restrictions are lifted.
And the likelihood of the Confederate player crossing the creek is what?
Nil would be a good answer, although under extraordinary circumstances, I suppose it's possible. I thought you had a question.
The limitations on Union movement seem arbitrary. It is like an artificial handicap on the Union player that seems somewhat clumsy.
Blue and Gray was designed to be a simple war game. The focus was on creating a system that makes it easy to understand. I think putting in a complex series of rules to simulate the lack of movement coordination on the Union side would have been counterproductive.
Is there no way around this issue?
Well, there is a variant that was suggested in an old article of Moves magazine. It keeps the movement restrictions simple but more realistic. Instead of only being able to move 15 units on the first turn and 10 units afterwards, the Union player can move up to 3 corps instead.
How would that work?
All the units on the Union side are identified by their unit designation, which includes their corps. They are set up in areas on the map with the units of each corps together. This makes it simple to move them as they were designed to be during the battle.
But doesn't this undo the balance of the game? If you are moving 3 corps at a time, isn't that more than 10 units per game turn?
Yes, but not by much. Most of the Union Corps consisted of 3 to 4 individual units, so while you do not get to move the full 15 on the first turn, you will get to move on average 11 to 13 units on succeeding turns. And keep in mind that the Confederate player enjoys some strong defensive positions along with internal roads for better movement, so the slight increase should not unbalance the game to any great extent.
Does the variant you suggest make for a better simulation of the battle?
Well, I don't know if it makes it a better simulation. Even with the restrictions, a Union player has too much control over which units they get to move. It would be better in that regard to use a chit pull system in which you pull the corps that gets to move, but that would take away from the fun of the game.
So, is Antietam a fun game?
Well, I grew up playing all 4 games, and while they are far from perfect, they did boost my interest in the Civil War. That's why the blue and gray quadra games have a special place on my shelf.